Okay, I think we should be cool. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our morning note. It is October 19th, 2020. I am back from a nice vacation. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Let's go ahead and talk market, shall we? Before we begin, make sure to click bottom right-hand corner. There's an icon there, the white logo. That's the like, subscribe, and make sure to comment and turn on notifications for our channel. More great things to come. So make sure to click that. We're trying to get to around 5,000 viewers or subscribers. Once we do, we can go ahead and do a live trading session with me. I think the last time we did it was really, really fun, so I definitely want to do that again. Let's get to 5,000 subs. That'd be the next goal to get there. Let's talk markets. Dow futures up 154, about half a percent. Nasdaq futures on the move, up about 108 points. So tech is on the move, but off the highs slightly overnight. S&P futures up 0.71%, 34.87. Russell 2000 index futures up about 0.66%. Dollar index down 0.42%, so that's good for commodities. We'll go over that in a second. VIX up half a percent, something to look forward to, something to look at. Crude oil is down 0.24%. Bitcoin is up nearly 2%, 11,580. Gold futures up half a percent. Thank you to dollar, 19.15 an ounce. 24.87 for silver, 1.93%. Euro dollar up 0.58%, about 68 pips for my Forex people, 11782. 105.31 for the dollar yen, down about 8 pips currently. So a couple levels I'm looking at. I talked about this last night. 3,500 on the S&P. Again, that'll retake the before the previous drop. So I'm watching that. That would be around 30, 50, 42, 350, 42, or 350 on SPY. If we break 350 on SPY, I'll definitely go long there. I do have some long Nasdaq futures here. So again, I am almost green here. It is right around 11,904. We should break that 11,967 level soon. That'll be the 100-day moving average. 12,030 would be my target to get out, or if not to add a position, just depending on the market movement and the flow. Let's go ahead and take a look at some pre-market movers here. I'm going to go ahead and move my screen. And moving this morning with volume, Neo's flat basically, but nice volume of 3.54 million shares. Apple's up 0.75%. We put a chart on that, so take a look at that on Instagram. The thing is, I heard is that Instagram is actually down. So if you're getting issues with Instagram, it's the whole system, Facebook and Instagram down. Boeing up 0.89%. Microsoft up half a percent. Intel up 0.65%. IBM up 0.55%. Goldman Sachs was upgraded by UBS, up half a percent. Home Depot up 0.60%. In the S&P, big movers. General Electric up 1.5%. ConocoPhillips 1.78%. American Airlines up nearly 1%. We had a million air travelers hit finally this year. Let's see, the first time in a while, obviously with COVID. Bank of America up half a percent. Let's see, in the Nasdaq, what's moving? Tesla up 1.67%. Zoom up 2% pre-market. Netflix up 0.79%. Amazon up half percent. Facebook up 0.31%. Netflix 0.79%. I think I said that. Half percent on Nvidia. But Zoom is on the move, 2%. Let's see here. What else? That's moving in the Nasdaq. That's basically it as the big movers here. I had someone ask about Workhorse. So Workhorse, I believe, is the EV company. Again, the only EV company that I own is Tesla. That's the only one I recommend. But if we look at Workhorse on a daily chart, you could see big moves to the upside. But it looks like it's testing that 50-day moving average. If it's a stock that you or a company that you really want a piece of, I would wait for maybe around $20 a share before I get back in, or maybe around $20.96. The 50-day moving average seems about right. Think about workhorses; they are not exactly making profit, but again, if you're looking forward to more of the EV space, then workhorse wouldn't be a bad idea, especially if you get a blue wave, who's going to be more clean energy and more EV centric. So blue wave meaning Democrats win the election, for example. Again, we talked about that. EV would be something in focus. Let's see here. Toquito asked Chipotle, are you looking to play this week? First of all, Chipotle is very expensive when it comes to options. Let me make that clear. Very expensive. You're basically playing like a Google. So if you are playing this, you need to break above that 1359 level. So you need to be very careful. I like Chipotle the stock. I don't own any, but again, I do like it long term. But again, it's a nice chart. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to the upside, but again, it's very expensive. So be very careful. Thoughts on Netflix before earnings and thoughts on Fastly after it dropped 30%. Fastly, I'm not interested in buying, so I'm going to skip that thing. Looks like it had some chances to rebound, but it's still continuing down to the downside on the hourly. If I bring up the daily here, there is that gap that fell and it looks like it's retesting the 100. If you're looking to get back in or to actually buy some, 75 seems to be pretty a decent level. I'm not going to buy any personally. I have a lot of tech on my portfolio. Let's look at Netflix. So it's a stock I own anyways. Looking at the daily, Netflix is above that fib level. So looking at the 1 hour chart, again, as long as we stay above the 200, but again, it's an expensive name, above $500 a share. It's like an Nvidia, and again, premiums are going to be very juiced. So again, if you're playing calls, you'd probably have to play the 600s, which are going to be a little pricey. Would I play options on it? Not really. I think QQQ would be your best option. Be a little cheaper, and it has Netflix exposure, so you could take a look at that instead. Thoughts on SNE long term? SNE is Sony. Again, if you're bullish on PlayStation 5, I like Sony. I own Microsoft instead. I'm planning to buy a PlayStation anyways. So again, I like video gaming. So I definitely am bullish Sony. I would like to, I don't own any, but again, I own Microsoft instead because they have a little more than just video gaming. But again, if you own PlayStation or you're a big console person with PlayStation, SNE would not be a bad idea to own. Again, I'm a big fan of you owning things that you consume. Let's see. NIO call 30 call expiring 10/23, which would be this week. Let me see if I can bring up NIO. We talked about this week. Uh, Down 2% should I currently hold? Yeah, just wait till we get the opening bell. $28 would be your support. If it breaks $28, then I'd pull the ripcord and just get out of it. Apple 123 call for October 13th. Well, all we have is some pre-market move. Market hasn't been open yet. But you have the 123 calls. I get where you're coming from with that. I like the target. You need to break above 120.83 first. If you break 120.83 first, I'd hold it. But for right now, just stay pat because the market's not even open yet. Overbought. What do you think about GE long term? Stay away. Right off the rip. Stay away. Peloton for a call before earnings. I don't like play earnings ahead of time. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen. But Peloton has been pretty strong, as you can see, just consistently to the upside. If you're playing Peloton, maybe you could play the 140s. You're trying to play that high. But again, it really is a gamble when it comes to that. NLS November 2025 calls. I don't know why we're going so far out, but NLS. Let's see. Nautilus Incorporated. I have no idea what Nautilus does. I don't know anything about this company, but you have the 25 calls. I just going by the chart here, you can see that there is a slight support here around 23,770 and right around 2311. If you break below 23, you need to get out of that trade. Hey, boss, thoughts on Facebook? Facebook, I love long term. There was a gap that did fill here around 271. Again, it does move with QQQ. So again, it's basically just treading water right at this support here, right around 265-ish. We should break above the blue line here, which would be your 100-day moving average. I'm bullish on tech anyways, guys, as you know. I'm bullish until the end of the year. So I definitely expect a nice bounce in Facebook. What are your thoughts on Tesla, the theme extracting in Bolivia as socialists seem to grab power in the recent election? Again, I've heard this discussion many times in regards to politics and socialism, and it affects companies. It really doesn't because Tesla could just pick up and move. But again, it doesn't affect my investment in Tesla whatsoever. They just got price upgraded, so I'm gonna stick with that name regardless of what country they're in. What are you looking at today? For the most part, I'm looking at Q's and SPY. That's basically the two I'm looking at. I just got back in. I don't have anything open except for some Nasdaq futures, so I really need to see what we're at and see where the market's moving. But I'm looking at Q's, see if they get a break of 292.32, and I'm looking at SPY for that break of 350. Basically, what I'm looking at. Good price to add Apple and SPY Tesla long term. Tesla, if you're at 404, 404 or 400 would be a great place to add. And Apple for me at 104.76 or below is where I'm adding. Thoughts on AMD on the 90 calls for October 23rd. AMD, I'm assuming with that number you're playing the earnings report, and I am bullish on AMD. I think we get it that gap fill to around 86.62, so I would be long. I would stay long. If you like cat today, see cat. Yeah, Caterpillar's on the move. Last time I traded it, I went red because the market fell off of a tweet regarding stimulus. But 170.51, if you break above that, then you could see about going to buy some calls. But let's see if you break that high first. Facebook or Twitter long term? I think Facebook is a better play longer term, but Twitter is fine, especially if the president wins re-election. Let's see, BABA 310. BABA is about to be in the money on 310 if you own it, so it looks very great. PFE 40 calls. Nice little dip here. Oh man, if you're in them, you're probably gonna get this gap fill around 38.24. So you could get a little more downside. If you break it below 38, it's basically over. You need to close that thing. Difference between QQQ and SPY. QQQ is more tech heavy. It's NASDAQ. SPY is more broad, S&P 500. Dots on Roku calls. Let's see. Love Roku long term, but it looks like it's gonna break 220. So if anything, I'd be playing puts to around 210. Unless you get a nice little bounce and then you get to around 230, 231. But for the most part, 220 is probably more likely going to break. What's a good price to buy Qualcomm? Oh, I like Qualcomm for the 5G play. If you do want to buy Qualcomm, I would say right around the 200-day moving average. What about 123 seems really decent. Yeah, 120, 123 seems about right. But Qualcomm has been absolutely on a tear. It's a good stock to own. NIO 30 calls. Yeah, I just talked about NIO. We put a chart up, but again, it needs to hold 28. If it does not hold 28, then it's gonna get uglier and it's gonna keep falling. Beyond, Beyond looks like it's gonna test that 200-day about 182.52. If it does break, then you're gonna go ahead and fall right to around 175. Is GLD a long-term investment? GLD is fine as a long-term investment. I would honestly start looking at physical gold as well. So that's something to look at. All right, guys, I'm going to go and end it here. Catch up with my guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to like and subscribe our videos, bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Turn notifications, and we'll catch you guys soon tomorrow for the morning note. And I'll catch you guys after the bell for the market recap as well on Instagram. Have a good one, guys.